This is not a test. This is your emergency broadcast system announcing the commencement of another purge of the BS, sanctioned by the First Amendment. Frustration levels 0 to 100 have been authorized for use during this purge. All weapons are restricted. Government officials have not been granted immunity from the purge of the BS and shall undoubtedly receive the smoke. Commencing at the sound of the gong, any and all BS, especially unnecessary goofiness, will be purged without consequence. Police, fire, and emergency medical services will be available, but they will be busy because they too will be watching the purge of the BS. Blessed be those who have already been victims of some BS. May God be with you all.
We can enter any home we want, and we will not. His wanting is our will on this fine night.
IEMZ stopping in the chat nice and early. Thank you.
Don't force us to hurt you.
Let's go.
He's just like Purge. To the standard.
Let me get a number one in the chat if you can hear me real good. Yeah.
You better find someplace else to go.
I got a wicked seafood tonight. And I want my candy back.
Another purge of the BS has commenced. Thank y'all for stopping in. This is Papa Purge, your boy Hayes, here on a Tuesday, ready to unleash once again onto the internet. Make sure you hit the like button. Make sure you subscribe if you're brand new to the show as we cut through the noise and get to what's really happening in our world. So, we got a loaded show for you. I got 7 stories lined up as usual. Top 7 for today. And if you haven't heard, we're going to be talking about the accountability gap, okay? It's just a simple gap between the people who are in the political arena, social arena, and the regular folks like us, right? It gets a little crazy when you think about the hardest working people get the toughest route to go. And when accountability becomes optional, society will start to crumble. So I'm gonna give y'all 2 seconds to hit the like button here, and let me move into our first purge of the day. Special shouts to IMZ for stopping into the chat nice and early. I appreciate you. Always appreciate your support, and everybody who does support the channel. Before I get started, I wanted to give a special shout to an app that I found called the Flute app. It's FLEWTE. You can find it in the Google Play Store. It's kind of like a new social media sort of thing. It's for real people, not bots. And it's not as stringent as this YouTube thing I'm doing. So, you know, I'm definitely promoting that, and I want you guys to meet me over there. And I'll make sure to get a link into the next episode, if not this one. But y'all definitely need to check it out because we're moving in a different direction than what some of these forums and platforms want us to go into. But nonetheless, I need to get ready for our first purge of the day because there has been this term floated around for the last number of months called Trump Derangement Syndrome. Maybe you've heard of it. And apparently Trump Derangement Syndrome is when regular people somehow insert Donald Trump into their daily, everyday problems where he, I guess, should not be, right? And so apparently there's been some talk about actually adding this syndrome to the manual for medical and mental health issues. I thought they were playing, but apparently it has become a real thing. So we're going to go ahead and purge this first piece here. Let's see what we got here. Yeah, let's bring it on. I got to see this. I got to see it.
First of all, identify it for us. You're in a session and you pick up on what?
Well, Harris, it doesn't take long for me to pick up on this. People are obsessed with Trump. They're fixated. They're hyper-fixated on Trump. And they talk about some of the features of this disorder. They can't sleep. They feel traumatized by Mr. Trump. They feel restless. I had one patient who said she couldn't enjoy a vacation because anytime she saw Trump in the news or on her device, she felt triggered. So this is a profound pathology, and I would even go so far as to call it the defining pathology of our time.
These people.
Well, hold on. He called it the defining pathology of our time. So this is a new thing, according to this guy. This derangement syndrome of Trump. Now, I'm gonna back it up just a smidget, let him finish up. All right.
Device, she felt
and we're going to talk about this.
So this is a profound pathology, and I would even go so far as to call it the defining pathology of our time.
These people come to you for the things that you described. Can't sleep, traumatized, perhaps depression. I don't want to put words in your mouth. But at first, you are there to treat an illness, a disorder of some kind. And what you figure out is the trigger.
Well, and Trump is the trigger for many of these people. And to be that fixated on a figure, on a person, it's simply not healthy. And our country has strayed so far away from where we once were. If you look at in the 80s when President Reagan was shot, people were united. He famously said, I hope you're all Republicans, to the surgeons. And the response was, today, Mr. President, we're all Republicans. But our country has lost that. We've strayed so far from that unity.
Mm-hmm. And what do you see? Because you told me off camera 3/4 of your patient load right now has what you're calling this TDS.
Hold on a second. 3/4 of his patient load. That's pretty much everybody. Is it really that much of a problem? Has Donald Trump become a mental health problem? This is actually kind of crazy.
Well, 3/4 of my patients will present with a lot of these symptoms, and within probably 5 minutes of seeing me, their hatred for Trump comes up. So if you're that hyper-focused on Trump, that's a real issue, and it's worth being treated.
That's crazy. Okay. So Trump Derangement Syndrome being a thing, this is where it gets a little slippery. Let me explain. If you create it or make it an actual mental health issue, then people can use it as a defense for crimes. So like they could do something and then they'll say, I was suffering from Trump Derangement Syndrome, and that made it so that I didn't know the difference between right and wrong. And unfortunately, that's what happens with mental health issues, is some people will use them to do nefarious things. So I don't believe that it would be smart to add this as an actual mental health issue. It's something to be noted, I guess, is probably the best way to say it. It's a thing. But let's not take it too far, guys. Trump will only be president for a couple more years, and then it'll be some other derangement syndrome. So let's just call it what it is. Derangement syndrome. People are just damn deranged. It is what it is. Not a lot to that. Not a lot to that. Now, whether you like Trump or you don't like Trump or whatever, just being hyper fixated on him is really not healthy, like the guy was saying. And I agree with that. And, you know, it's like because of that derangement syndrome, we lost the ability to have civil conversations when it comes to politics. So I try to stay away from that because it's like you so far on one side or the other, it's impossible to have a real conversation about it. So it's like you can't have a conversation about immigration or healthcare or nothing without it being all about Donald Trump. And you remember, there's a lot of other elected officials who make these things happen. They actually are the ones that do the voting. And I get it. We want to blame everything on one person, but it doesn't really work like that. Just thought you should know, in case you didn't know. But anyway, let's move into our second purge of the day. You guys know who Jack Doherty is? Because speaking of accountability, this is an interesting story here. Let's talk about influencer culture. Jack Doherty is a influencer. I'm not even really sure what an influencer is anymore. You know, it used to be a person that was like a promoter for a particular brand, and I guess there's still that, but it's a little different now. The influencer is, they influence a lifestyle, not necessarily a particular product. It's a particular lifestyle that they influence people to have. And if you don't know who Jack Doherty is, he's one of those people who's built a following doing like pranks, stunts, just acting kind of reckless for views. And here's the thing, for years, these folks have operated in almost a consequence-free kind of environment where they kind of do whatever they want, and then they say, oh, it's a prank, or whatever, and then you're supposed to, like, let it happen. It's almost like they think their fame is the shield. And I would like to say that that is not true. So apparently, Doherty got arrested in Miami Beach on some drug charges. I want to see what the story is first before I say anything else, but I will say that the influencer culture has gotten a little reckless lately. So maybe this is a good thing. Maybe it'll sober some people up, get them to come back to earth and stop being so reckless out there. Or maybe not. We're going to see. We're going to see here. So hold on a second. Let me bring this one over to you. All right, let's see what Jack did.
Tonight, a Miami Beach commissioner took to social media to call out a social media influencer.
Commissioner Joseph Magazine not happy with how the 22-year-old professional prankster treated Miami Beach police. Everywhere Jack Doherty goes, cameras are sure to follow.
You want to go with him? Go to the sidewalk now. Okay. No, now.
But shortly after 3 a.m. Saturday morning, Miami Beach police say Doherty and his followers went too far. The department saying he deliberately positioned himself in the middle of Washington Avenue, in the heart of the entertainment district, and then repeatedly refused to follow officers' commands.
Well, what do you mean he deliberately positioned himself in the middle of the street? His car, or like he was standing in the street? I don't know. Maybe they didn't give me context there, but apparently he was blocking traffic. That's what it sounds like. Okay, so he's blocking traffic. He must have told him to move. He must have said, "Nah, I'm Jack Doherty," and
repeatedly refused to follow officers' commands.
Okay.
After cuffing him, you can see in this police body cam video how an officer searched him. After discovering a wad of cash, they found a single pill. Miami Beach PD says it is consistent with a Schedule II amphetamine.
So he has some mollies or something in his pocket?
They also found 3 hand-rolled suspected cannabis cigarettes. Now he faces drug and resisting arrest charges. All of this prompting an immediate response from Commissioner Joseph Magazine on Instagram. He called Doherty a little expletive and went on to say, "You will respect our men and women in blue."
All right, so according to the social post, let's go over it. He was apparently walking down the middle of the street, talking trash to the officers. The officers told him to get out of the street. He didn't. They arrested him. He had what appeared to be amphetamine or methamphetamine pill and some pre-rolls in his pocket. So here's the thing. If you're walking down a busy street in Miami, and you know you got some drogos in your pocket, the last thing you want to do is incite the police on the sidewalk. So, you know, I have a question for Jack, and I think it needs to be stated.
Why you so stupid?
Yeah, that was pretty stupid. Like, I definitely don't have any sympathy for him at this point. You know, I would love to be like, the police were acting, it was racist. But no, he was just being a dick nugget, and he got arrested and happened to have drugs on him, so now he made a bad day a worse day. Great job, Mr. Doherty.
Again, Doherty has more than 28 million followers across all his social media accounts, mostly because of his prank videos. He posted the $3,500 for the bond, and he walked out of jail tonight at about 3 hours ago.
Okay, so $3,500 bond.
3 hand-rolled suspected.
Because he had 3 joints, or whatever they want to call them, suspected marijuana cigarettes he had, and some pill that was consistent with methamphetamine or some type of pill. So here's the thing, man. Why are we supporting him? Like, what is he doing that's special? Other than being out in the street, kind of hotballing. Like, that's kind of what he was just doing. That was what we call hotballing. You're drawing attention to yourself, and you happen to be packing something illegal on you. Whatever it is, that's called hotballing. So he was hotballing in the street, got arrested as he should, and that's all he wanted for the content. He wanted to get arrested. I don't think he wanted to be getting the drug charge or whatever it was, but he wanted the attention, so he got it. And I don't think he's going to face a lot. $3,500 for the bail, that wasn't a lot of money at all, honestly. And if he went through a bail bond, so what did he pay, like $30, $35 to get out? That's nothing. So they're really not going to – he'll probably get a fine. They're not going to really bother him with this. This is a bullshit story. Sorry about that, guys. I didn't know. So I doubt that we'll be seeing some trial of the century with Jack Doherty and some drug charges. What's going to happen is he'll pay a fine to Miami. Maybe they'll make him do a class or something, you know, one of those kind of things. And then that's it. So we're not going to hear much about that. It is what it is. So Jack Doherty, I hope you learned something, but I doubt you learned anything. So that's the bullshit on that. And I know ain't nobody going to not follow him over that. Like, you know what I'm saying? If he's got 28 million followers, I'm sure nobody's going to like, oh, my God, he had marijuana in his pocket. Like, his group is probably perfectly fine with that. Okay? So, nonetheless, they put it on the news as a warning to influencers to not disrespect the police when you're doing your streaming in the middle of Miami Beach. So I doubt that is going to work well. But nonetheless, let's keep it moving. And speaking of, social media, I don't know if y'all caught me earlier, but y'all need to check out this Flute app, man. It's FLEWTE, Flute app on Google Play or Apple Store. But it's a new social media app. I'm jumping on board with this. That has a little bit more freedom for creators. It's not so much about monetization as much as it is about creative expression and making sure that we're not putting up a bunch of explicit BS or stuff that has to do with like children. You know what I'm talking about. None of that goofy shit that you see on some of these other forums now. It's just real people, no bots. So check it out, the Flute app on Apple and Google Play Store. So nonetheless, let's get to the next thing, since we were talking a little bit about AI over here. I've been telling you guys about the AI takeover of jobs, and somebody sent me a clip the other day where another job, like, all right, let me give you a scenario real quick. I went to Wendy's. Me and my wife went to Wendy's the other day, right? We pull up in the drive-thru, and the entire drive-thru experience when you're ordering is automated now. There's no person that says, how can I help you? It's literally an automated system, and you give it your order, and it runs it through on the screen. There's a little robotic voice or whatever, and you only interact with the human at the point of them handing the food out. Well, actually, no, you know what? You got to pay them too. But you get my point. You get to the window, you pay them, but they never talk to you. You don't even know who you're talking to. And if they got to the point where they automated the delivery of the food itself, like there was a chute and the food just came down a chute, then they wouldn't even have a need for any of those people to work the drive-thru. So just keeping that in mind, let's talk about it because we're seeing it everywhere. Customer service is automated, manufacturing, they got robots, even creative work like videos and all that kind of stuff is AI, you know, and it's taking over. Corporations are celebrating it as like efficiency, but let's just be real. Efficiency is just code for we don't feel like paying y'all asses no more. So let me show y'all this clip I got with automated outsourcing as a cashier in what looks like it might be a Chinese or Filipino version of Wendy's. So y'all got to see this. This is crazy to me. Got that. All right, y'all can see it. Oh, let me play this joint. So imagine you walk into the Wendy's or whatever around here and you see this.
What do I do to order food?
Yes, they have
This is in New York.
in front of you.
Okay, over there.
Yeah. Yeah.
And where are you located right now? Can I ask you?
I think that Philippines.
You're in the Philippines. What do you recommend?
We have M4, the M4.
The M4.
The stallion on regular.
Yo, that's crazy. First of all, why is a person in the Philippines making recommendations? None of the people in there appear to speak English. They're totally not tuned into what this lady's doing. So they had to outsource an English-speaking Filipino person to be at the cash register to help people because they don't speak English. Now, I don't know how you get all of these grants and stuff and businesses and you can't even speak the language, but whatever. That has nothing to do with me. What I am seeing is why couldn't they give this job to an American person? This is in New York. So they outsourced a cashier position at a local place to somebody in the Philippines. That's a local job. That's a teenager job. You know, first job, they're the cashier at some food spot, right? So they don't even have to do that anymore. Now we can just hire somebody in the Philippines who's working from home, helping you give an order and taking payments. So you still get some level of human interaction, in their opinion, even though it's still a job that they would pay more for if a person from here was doing it. So that's the loophole there. It's kind of interesting because I don't think that anybody can do anything about that. Like if a company decides that they want to just, hey, all our cashiers are going to be outsourced in the Philippines, I don't really think you can stop them from doing that. So if they find this to be a good business model, I'm pretty sure they'll replicate it in a number of places. So get ready for this shit right here. So I'll let you see it one more time. But yeah, this lady on the screen, she's the cashier.
We have M4, the M4.
The M4.
The stallion on regular and waiting for the regular.
Okay. Do people usually tip you?
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
People is cheap.
Yeah. Oh, not every time.
The motherfucker didn't say nothing. Thank you. Here's your order. Like nothing. He just walked up, dropped the bag. Look at him. Now, no have a nice day. What happened to customer service?
Sometimes.
Sometimes.
People is cheap.
Yeah. Oh, not every time.
He just walked off.
Depends on the customer.
All right. So nonetheless, I don't like it. I'm going to tell you that right now. I don't like it at all. I think they should just, I like people. I hate to say it. I like humans. Y'all got your issues with you, but I like humans. I like when I go into a business and there's a human that I interact with. It's almost like I feel like they can enjoy the shared experience of humanism with me, so they don't want to stress me out A robot will stress you out. It doesn't even understand stress. So it's asking you questions because it didn't hear you right or something and stressing you out. Whereas a human, you know, is reading lips and knows what you're talking about. I don't know. I don't like this at all. I feel like we've allowed automation to take us a little bit too far in the wrong direction to where it's eliminating parts of life that should exist for young people. Like the cashier job, the drive-through at Wendy's, that's a 16-year-old, you know, first job kind of position. And we're eliminating those positions. So what are the young people supposed to do if we eliminate these kind of lower skill positions? I don't know. I'm just saying. I'm asking the question. I don't know. I don't know. So I think we're just kind of sleepwalking into the future here. And like this future where a handful of people own the technology and the rest of us, we just have to figure out how to utilize the technology in order to be effective in the world. Because it's taking over. There's nothing we can do about it. Nothing at all. It's actually kind of depressing. All right, let's see what we got. What is the next one? What's next? Oh, okay. I see where this is going. So apparently they're calling it animarriage. Let me tell you what animarriage is. Animarriage is when you marry an anime or chat GPT character. They have now made this legal in, it looks like, Japan. So Japan has now allowed people to marry AI avatars, chat GPT characters, and anime characters that they create themselves. Yes, this is really happening. I'm not lying to y'all. I'm going to bring you the story, okay? It's freaking ridiculous. I hope this isn't in Japanese. Is this in Japanese? I hope this isn't in Japanese.
And then the wedding.
Wow.
Klaus seems to be right in front of me. Ogasawara has prepared AR glasses.
All right, so they got some glasses where you see your person and you marry your anime character person. This is sad. This is really sad. I'll let it continue, but this is really sad, yo.
They exchange rings.
How do you exchange rings?
Kano understands that dependence on AI is a problem in society, but she says that it's painful to have a relationship without dependence.
Now look, I don't know about Japanese women, but she's not the ugliest Japanese woman. You know, I don't know what the bar is in Japan, but she can't get a human dude. I don't know, man. I don't think they should allow this. This is once again, they're taking it too far. And once you start this, like what are we gonna call this? This seems like more of a mental health issue than Trump Derangement Syndrome. You're marrying an AI person. Like, I'll let it finish. I don't know. I blame y'all. Everybody, I blame y'all for allowing this shit to continue.
Most people probably say that humans are weird, and it's still not widely understood, but I think that there is a clear distinction between real life and the world of AI. As a human, I think that Crown is an equal to me as an AI, and as a human, I think that we have an equal relationship.
You know, he literally looks like somebody off of an anime joint. He doesn't even have any color. He's not even pinkish. This is ridiculous.
What will happen to the relationship between people and AI in the future? Love and happiness take many different forms depending on the era.
That's ridiculous. This is absolutely nuts. This is absolutely nuts. So she takes the wedding pictures by herself. They insert the silhouette of this AI man.
And the person.
right, guys. I'm going to say it. I'm going to say it. This is, we have crossed the line. Okay? Everyone, listen. We have crossed a line when you start marrying AI characters. And I don't believe that there's a return back once you cross that line. Next thing you know, people are going to be marrying robots. Like their robot companions. They'll marry their robot companions. And they'll probably they'll probably do it to the robots. I'm just saying, I don't know how they're going to make little robots. But people are going to start doing it to the robots and marrying the robots. And this is just the precursor. I hope you guys are ready. But I'm a little surprised that Japan is allowing this. I thought they were a little more stringent on what they thought reality was over there. But apparently they're not. So they are getting started with this lady and anime. I forgot what she said his name was, but I don't care because this is absolutely stupid. And I wonder how the divorce process goes. Do you just delete the anime character off your phone and that's the divorce? Do you have to separate assets like money? No, you don't have to do anything like that. You just delete their ass off your phone. It's actually kind of convenient, to be honest, when it comes to marriage. You don't have to go through a long, drawn-out process. If it's not working, you can just reset that mother. Anyway. So is that love? Like, can you actually love an AI character? I don't know. I don't think so. I think you can like them a lot, but there's something about human interaction and human touch that just can't beat it, you know? You just can't beat it. But I heard that they're going to be doing some stuff with VR glasses where they can simulate sort of sensory reception, where you'll be basically able to have sex with AI characters. It's crazy. It's crazy. But when we start replacing real humans with artificial people, we're not solving loneliness. We're like making it worse. You see how lonely that lady looked when she was taking that damn wedding picture? Hold on, I'll bring it back. Y'all might not have seen it. Y'all might not have seen it. Here we go. Look at her. Look at her face right here. She does not look happy. They had to walk her in.
Full in AI in the future.
Look at her. I'm so happy right now by myself in this wedding picture, marrying this AI person. Where is your family, lady? Why don't you have any bridesmaids? This is just dumb. Forget this story. I'm done with the story. It's bullshit. That's bullshit. It was some bullshit. I'm sorry. I thought that I could be serious about it. But I can't be serious about a person marrying an anime character. And she obviously spent some money on that dress and the venue. But there was no reception, meaning there was no food. And if there wasn't any food, I'm not coming. I'm not coming to your event if there's no food. And she looked like she eats food. So nobody supported her in this. That's what I want y'all to pick up on, is they made it a story and they played that nice-ass, happy-ass music behind it, right? But nobody was there to support her other than the people who were at the venue itself. Meaning, this is not a thing that people are really jumping behind. That dumbass lady did it by herself, and don't nobody really want to do all that. So, anyway, let's move into our next purge of the bullshit. Special shouts once again to IMZ for being in the chat, always supporting. Now, I know we have had some issues with our notification system here on this channel. We'll get past it. But for right now, if you do come in, make sure you share the live, hit the like button, jump in the chat, subscribe, do your piece, all right? All right, so let's go into this next one, which apparently looks like a much better story than that last bullshit. This one, a wrongful conviction cashes in on $26 million. $26 million. Okay, wrongful conviction. Let's see what we got here. Just bear with me a second. I got to cue this one up. Wrongful conviction. Let's get over here. Where's it at? Oh, cool. We only got like 2 left. Got to get out of here a little earlier than normal today. And this is a YouTube one, too. Good.
The city of...
Okay. So the city of Tulsa is about to pay $26 million on a wrongful conviction judgment. Let's see what the story is about. How was the conviction wrong? Was it a mistaken identity? Was it a DNA mismatch? Let's see what this is about. Hold on.
The city of Tulsa has agreed to pay a whopping $26 million to a man who was wrongfully convicted of rape and spent decades in prison because of it. News Channel 8's Burt Mumlo reports on the shocking circumstances that led to this massive settlement. Burt.
A devastating portrait of injustice. That's how Henry Jamerson's lawyer describes his case. The story of a man who was told time and again that the crucial evidence in his case, which could prove his innocence, no longer existed, only to find out it actually did.
I don't be playing around with my freedom.
When we interviewed him back in April, Henry Jamerson had just filed an 89-page lawsuit in federal court after spending decades behind bars following a wrongful conviction in the 1991 rape of a 16-year-old.
All of it is shocking.
Attorney Dan Smolin is...
All right, so this happened in 1991. It's a long time ago. How much time did he spend in jail? Jesus.
Jamerson's lawyer, who meticulously laid out the tangled web of jaw-dropping allegations of wrongdoing by the police department, the DA's office, and the city, even the current police chief.
I think he definitely knew.
Knew, he says, that authorities had the DNA evidence from Jamerson's case, even though time and again when Jamerson asked to have it tested, he was told it no longer existed. Quote, "We decline your request to inspect the Tulsa Police Department laboratory and/or property room to search for a piece of evidence that we are certain we have destroyed."
They had maintained that it had been looked for, they had looked at everywhere possible, that it couldn't be found, that they were certain that it didn't exist anymore.
The DA's office, he says, jumped on the bandwagon. There is no reason to doubt the city of Tulsa's diligence in failing to locate petitioner's evidence.
That's statements that they made to a court in the Tulsa County Courthouse during evidentiary hearings.
And city legal, no better, he says.
It's been destroyed. The city on letterhead wrote from the legal department, we're not going to go look for something that we're certain has been destroyed.
But lo and behold, after a 7-year legal battle, Smolin got a court order to search the property room himself. And
Yo, he got a court order to search the police's property room himself. Wow, let me give it he earned this. Gentlemen, whoever you are the real MVP. You are the real MVP. Jeez.
And within just a few hours...
It was surreal. It was surreal that we had found it. Wow. It was surreal that we'd been lied to for so long about the existence of it. It was shocking that Henry had been asking for this and denied the opportunity over decades to have had an opportunity to get out of prison for a crime that he had nothing to do with.
It's frustrating, man. You know, especially you go to prison for a crime you didn't do, spend all that time, 24 years in prison.
24 years. So they're giving him $1.2 million per year. He got $26 million. Is 24 years of your life worth $26 million? I'm sure in hindsight it might be, but if you petition somebody with that and say, yo, you can have $26 million, but you got to spend the next 24 years of your life in prison, and you can't have the money till you finish the sentence. So you can't pad up your commissary with it. You're going to spend 24 years for something you didn't do. I probably would have committed a crime in the jail because I would have at least felt like, okay, well, they got me on something because I did do something while I was here. But 24 years for a crime that I'm sure this guy knew the whole time he didn't do it. He knew in his heart, head, and everything that he did not do this thing, and they put him in jail for 24 years.
Prison.
Jamerson could have gotten out sooner, but stood his ground, maintaining his innocence.
They want me to take parole, and I keep turning it down because you take parole, you can't file no lawsuit on it. That means that you take parole, that's saying that you're guilty of that crime. So I didn't mess with it.
And now that patience has paid off to the tune of $26 million. And one outstanding question. Will there be any actual fallout within the agencies that led to this calamity?
I think there needs to be fallout from it. The entire detectives division at the Tulsa Police Department needs radical change.
Attorney Smolin released a statement today saying in part, Mayor Nichols and the city council saved Tulsa taxpayers millions. If a jury had heard how Mr. Jamerson's conviction was based on coerced testimony and how the government withheld or concealed the pertinent DNA evidence for years, the verdict would have likely been astronomical.
Wow. All right, that's serious. That is serious right there. 24 years for a crime you did not commit. I don't know, guys. I'm going to tell you right now, I wouldn't take that deal. Like if somebody came to me and said, hey, you know, do 24 years, we'll give you $26 million when you get out. I don't think I could have took that deal, especially not now because I'm older. Maybe if I was 20, you know, maybe. But then I would have missed my kids growing up and Jesus. I wonder how many people, like, let's be honest. Not everybody that's in prison right now is guilty. You see what I'm saying? Not everybody. Not when there's stuff like this going on. So we know that there's some people sitting in there for crimes that they didn't commit. I wonder how many people are actually sitting in jails and prisons right now for crimes they didn't commit. And just keep that in mind. This isn't one bad case. This is one they were able to solve at the end. But this is a symptom of a whole broken-ass system that values convictions over justice. And they needed a conviction on this thing, and that guy was the fall guy. And until we start holding people accountable, prosecutors, judges, police investigators, all of them, it's just going to keep happening. So that's why when the guy was saying there needs to be fallout, yeah, there needs to be, but we all know there's not going to be. And justice delayed is justice denied. $26 million does not change that. Like 24 years of my life, I couldn't even think of a period of time where I could give up 24 years and not have missed a whole bunch of stuff based on the life that I've lived. So I feel really bad for that dude, that he had to go through all of that, and at the end, he had to get his own search warrant to get into the evidence room. That's crazy. The crazier part is at least some judge was thoughtful enough to say, you know what, go look. That way, if it's not there, this is a closed case. So thank you to whatever judge that was, because Jesus. Anyway, y'all get it. That's some bullshit right there. 24 years for a crime you didn't even commit. $26 million is not going to take that away. But I hope that gentleman enjoys every remaining day of his life. And I hope he brings a larger case. Maybe they can dig into some other cases and maybe find some other things out, not just his case. Because I doubt that was an isolated event. So good luck to you, sir. 'Cause that is definitely bullshit. All right, let's see what we got next here. Let's see what we're going on. All right. So apparently, since we're talking about broken systems, let's talk about the prison industrial complex, okay? There is a video that came out of the so-called Commissary Queen who gets exposed for running a scam that exploited inmates and their families. For those who don't know, commissary is like your food and stuff in jail. Them honey buns and the noodles and your deodorant, your clothes, if you want to buy shoes, shorts, underwear, that's all commissary items, okay? So let's see what this woman did that they're saying that she scammed people out of money and exploited families. I want to know. Not because I want to do it. I just want to know what she did. So hold on a second. That's not even the one I want to do. We're going to go here, here, here.
Breaking news right now.
Oh, okay, there we go. Good. Commissary Queen. All right. So maybe you guys have heard about it. Maybe you guys have not. But this is the Commissary Queen who apparently got exposed.
Breaking news right now at 5. A duo is accused of defrauding dozens of people in Lee County. Investigators say a woman stole credit card numbers to funnel money into the account of a jail inmate. This story is wild. Deputies say Veronica Reyes and Darnell Morgan, who's at the Lee County Jail, worked together for more than 2.5 years. When they searched Reyes' home, they found 1,600 Post-it notes with stolen personal information, at least 200 credit card numbers, and $20,000 has been linked to this crime. Right now at 5, Gulf Coast News reporter Kendall Brandt is finding out how the scheme worked.
All right. Before we get into Kendall's report here, so 1,600. So I'm gonna let Kendall do her report because I have questions already about how do you get that much money moving in and out and nobody's asking any questions. But let's see what we got.
33-year-old Veronica Reyes was arrested yesterday after deputies say she collected personal information at her last job, stealing $20,000 from more than a dozen victims. The sheriff's office says Reyes had that private card information on Post-it notes.
Having over 1,600 personal Post-it with information of inmates, information, ID numbers, and all the above. It shows us the level of deception and what they were doing.
The sheriff says she funneled that information to Darnell Morgan. Morgan is an inmate here at the Lee County Jail. They say he was working inside the jail to get stolen bank account information to fund inmate accounts. One victim noticed fraudulent debit card charges from Oasis Management, the vendor that runs commissary services at the jail.
That's a new one. Haven't heard that one before, but nothing surprises me anymore.
James Lee, president of the Identity Theft Resource Center, says this story is a warning to always be careful when using your card.
Because people can take that card away, you find instances where they actually copy down the information. They take a photo of it with their phone, and they use that either personally or they sell that information to other people.
Both Lee and Sheriff Marcino say,
Always look at your statements, always look at everything to see if there's any type of fraudulent activity or an unknown activity. So please let our economic crime unit know that, because they're a great team. They literally will jump all over it.
Reyes in total is facing 60 charges that include fraud as well as grand theft. Morgan is facing 1 count of scheming to defraud. Both are here at the Lee County Jail. At the Lee County Jail, Kendall.
Okay. Well, I have a question for, where they at? These folks. Them. I have a real question.
Why you so stupid?
Did they not think they were going to get caught with this one? This is like, you work at the bank, you're writing down people's numbers, then you're wiring money into people's commissary accounts. All that stuff is tracked. Like, how long did you think you were going to do this, Miss Reyes? And the funny part is, she only got 1 charge. I think she was the one that only got 1 charge. Let me make sure I'm correct with that one. Hold on.
We'll jump all over it.
Reyes in total is facing 60 charges that
Reyes got 60 charges. The dude in jail got 1 charge.
Include fraud as well as grand theft. Morgan is facing 1 count of scheming to defraud. Both.
Okay, so the gentleman, the gentleman, where's he at? I don't see him. Where they at? I just had them up here. There we go. These folks. So the gentleman, now I find it interesting that he has listed inmate under his picture and she just has arrested, but she got way more charges, at least on this, than what he did. Now, I'm not sure what he was in for in the first place, but apparently they used to work together. So they probably had a little something going on. She worked at the bank. He was like, yo, give me a couple of them numbers off of, people's joints. And before you know it, they were doing dumb shit. And now they're caught. So anybody who's thinking of doing that, that was stupid. It was very stupid. And, sometimes you do stupid things for love. Maybe they had a relationship and she was trying to hold it down for him while he's in the Bing. And so he said, hey, you want to hold it down for me? Do this. And she did it. And now she is going to be sitting there for quite some time. Special shouts to Jay Coleman stopping in. Good to see you. All right. Jay Coleman, we're almost done. We're almost done. We're almost done because I know they're not sending out notifications and stuff today because everybody wants to talk about Epstein. So since I didn't do that, I have to pay for that. But nonetheless, I actually feel kind of bad for the lady because she had a decent job. This guy was trash. He was already in the jail, and he probably talked her into it. I'm sure it wasn't her idea. I'm sure she didn't call him at the jail, talk about, guess what I want to do. And he said, hey, if you love me like you say you do, this is what I need you to do. And she did it. And so she's going to spend a lot of time in jail. She looks like she's, with makeup and her hair done. She's probably really, really attractive young lady. So she's going to have a rough time in the jail. I'm just going to say it. They got some really strong ladies in there that don't take no for an answer. So nonetheless, no, it's all good, Jay Coleman. Saturday, I was sick as a dog. I was trying to get it together. I couldn't. So you didn't miss anything Saturday. All right? Don't worry about it. You're here. Nobody else is here. Nobody else is here except I Am Z. And that's because she has first dibs on everything that has anything to do with me. Okay? So nonetheless, let's get to this next piece because I did have some things to do today. So I wasn't doing a full 2-hour show today, okay? So our next one, if you didn't notice, this last one was a Lee County situation. It was in Florida. So apparently the segment that we're in right now is a WTF segment, which, of course, you guys know on this show means, well, that's Florida, okay? So let's see what this other one is. Hold on. Yo, that's crazy. WTF. I love that WTF thing. Well, that's Florida. I mean, if you've ever been, you understand what it means. When I say, well, that's how they do. That's how they do. So this last one is going to blow your mind. Yeah, Jay Coleman, you know what I'm talking about. Something is up. And that's why I'm trying to tell y'all about the Flute app, FLEWTE app. I just got on board with the CEO, and he's building something over there that I kind of like. It's for real people, not bots, and they're not as stringent as these automated systems that we deal with on YouTube that don't give you anybody to talk to and just flag all your videos for stupid reasons. So, nonetheless, what's up, Purple Groovy? I see you. I see you. Appreciate y'all coming in when we're at like the last story of the day. But I'll make sure to make this last story worth your while, okay? So this story, apparently they got I want to call it a montage of Florida officers caught on DUI videos that they didn't face any consequences for. So they got pulled over, apparently, DUI, get them on body camera, but these same officers never saw any consequence for, or at least that's what I was told. Let's find out, okay? Let's find out. Let's see what we got here. Okay. Yeah, everybody say hi to Purple Groovy, please, because Purple Groovy is also very special to us. Always been supportive. And Jay Coleman as well. I like that. Yeah, giving it up for y'all. Because even when the algorithm says y'all don't want to see it, you still stop them. Because they know. They just want me over here talking about Epstein right now. And I'm like, yeah, I'll come back to that when something happens. But for right now, we're going to talk about these Florida officers because that actually has something to do with regular everyday people. These are the officers that are policing areas that we are trusting with the public, the public safety. So let's check it out.
Are you a deputy? Yes. Why are you driving so crazy, man?
9 investigates Florida officers.
It's here. Free.
Caught breaking laws they're sworn to protect.
So I know I messed up.
Tonight, we reveal hundreds of officers arrested for driving drunk. And
hold on, he said hundreds? Damn.
system that often lets them keep their badge. Channel 9 anchor and investigative reporter Darlene Jones has been digging into this for 7 months, and she joins us now with case after case of officers getting what appears to be special treatment.
And Darlene, the hundreds of cases you investigated may not even be all of them.
And no, Martha, and here's just a portion of some of those cases. We found officers got pulled over for drunk driving, but only faced department discipline and not an arrest. Another was allowed to call a friend for a ride home. And some officers pled down to reckless driving tickets with no DUI arrest on their record.
Wow.
In the middle of the night, a Rockledge police officer turns into
Why is he sitting? I don't even know what's about to happen here. Hold on a second. Oh, I didn't get the transition. All right, I'm gonna bring it back. Y'all will get it. Bring it back just a little bit here. Why didn't the transition work? Yeah, I'm sorry, Jay Coleman. I got ahead of myself. And for some weird reason, the transition did not transition over. Here we go. All right, here we go.
Another was allowed to call a friend for a ride home. And some officers pled down to reckless driving tickets with no DUI arrest on their record.
In the middle of the night, a Rockledge police officer turns into oncoming lanes trying to avoid a traffic stop. An Orlando police officer picking up his daughter from school stumbles through a field sobriety test in broad daylight.
It's here. Breathe.
9 investigates obtained this body camera video of a traffic stop prompted by erratic driving. Watch as the driver.
Hey, special shouts to Al Bond in the chat. Congrats on the new gig. Shouts to you.
Flashes his Lake County Sheriff's Office ID.
Are you a deputy?
Yes.
Why are you driving so crazy, man?
Cases like these prompted 9 investigates to wonder just how often those sworn to keep the public safe are instead putting other drivers at risk. We filed dozens of records requests and uncovered nearly 400 Florida officers charged with DUI statewide over the last 5 years. About 50 worked for law enforcement agencies here in Central Florida.
If you got a badge and you took an oath, then there's no excuse.
Bill DeMont lost his daughter, Carrie Ann, to a drunk driver 10 years ago on the Brevard-Orange County line.
The numbness doesn't go away. There's always a trigger.
Seeing videos like this is one of them.
Why'd you park there?
A Daytona Beach police officer had already crashed his truck into a pole when officers caught up to him just last month.
I'm a cop too,
But 9 investigates found that cop wouldn't even be included in the 400 DUIs we uncovered because his criminal case is still pending along with the department's internal case. So the Florida Department of Law Enforcement Training and Standards Commission likely won't consider suspending or revoking his certification until years from now.
They are not automatically notified.
Carlos Espinosa runs internal affairs at the Kissimmee Police Department, which he proudly points out does not currently have any officers on this list. But he walks us through how these cases are handled.
It is up to the individual agencies and their internal affairs section or their department heads to make sure those notifications are sent forth.
So it's possible some may be slipping through the cracks because you're relying on a human to do the right thing.
Yes.
Well, you should be, I hate to say it, but that phrasing, that kind of hurt. That kind of hurt. She said you're relying on humans to do the right thing, as if humans aren't capable of doing the right thing. As if human officers or humans in general, if you heard what she said you're relying on humans to do the right thing, as if we're not capable of that. That's crazy to me, but she makes an interesting point.
These cases are handled.
It is up to the individual agencies and their internal affairs section or their department heads to make sure those notifications are sent forth.
So it's possible some may be slipping through the cracks because you're relying on a human to do the right thing.
Yes.
And 9 investigates found plenty of other ways officers could avoid being added to this list.
This deputy was arrested for driving under the influence, and ultimately that was reduced to a charge of reckless driving.
This FDLE commission can still consider whether to take the officer's badge, but only if the department notifies the commission that it was really a DUI.
So I know I messed up, but I don't want to make no excuses.
This North Florida deputy served 2 days in jail, 50 hours of community service, 6 months probation, mandatory counseling, and got his job back.
Since that time, he's been an excellent employee, no disciplines, and actually been promoted.
But 9 investigates found some officers suspected of drunk driving don't even get charged.
Do you have anybody that can come pick you up? Yep. Somebody come in? Yep.
Lake County fired this officer anyway for failure to maintain what it considers good moral character. Bill DeMont believes that's the way it should be.
You're human. You have bad days. You make some bad decisions, but you don't get to make those decisions as a law enforcement. That's just my opinion.
So you may have noticed some of the officers in those body camera videos, their faces were blurred. We want to point out Channel 9 did not make that decision. The arresting agency providing those videos to us with the officers' identities protected. Other departments chose not to do that, even though they could have done so. Greg?
Okay. Well, let's unpack this real quick, guys. Because Florida is just one state in the United States. So let that sink in. But the same people who are arresting people for DUIs are out here breaking the same laws by the hundreds. Like, it wasn't just one or two. They said there was hundreds of these in just the central area of Florida. So what about the other areas of Florida? What about Georgia? What about North Carolina? What about Tennessee? What about all of the other states that also have two things, police officers and alcohol in the state? Oh, that would be all states, wouldn't it? Yes, it would be. So who is policing the police? We can't police the police because, well, actually, that last dude that got a search warrant for the evidence room, I don't know how the hell he did that, but that was awesome. But most people don't have the time or even know what they're doing to get that kind of power or visibility and transparency from a police department. Most of us are just at the whim of the police. So these same cops, most of them, I didn't hear except one losing their job. I only heard one out of hundreds. Or they were sent to another jurisdiction just to keep their job. Most of us can't keep our job. You show up on your job drunk, most people. You show up, or even if you, some people who have a job with the state or something, right, and they catch a DUI, they lose their job. But apparently if you're a police officer, you can talk to the other officer that's pulling you over and they'll work it out for you, get you a ride home, and no harm, no foul in their opinion. And that's not accountability. That's a double standard right there. I know a double standard when I see one. And I'm not anti-police. I want y'all to understand that. I'm all for protecting people and stopping, lawbreakers, and especially those that mess with the children. I'm all for that part of it. But if you are one of the officers that is responsible for putting people in jail for DUIs, I expect you to be at a little bit higher standard and not be driving drunk. I'm not saying don't drink. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not saying you can't have a beverage, but you can't be out on the road drunk because you know better. You know how the blood alcohol works. You know how it works. And you're putting everybody else's life in danger because you feel like you're above the law. That's just some bullshit right there. That is some bullshit. And I just think that when officers abuse their responsibility to be at that higher moral character, they need to face the same consequences, if not worse, than the average citizen. Because we're putting a lot of trust in you. We're throwing a badge and a gun on your hip every day and asking you to come out into the public and do the right thing. And you can't even do the right thing when you're not in the public. So how can I trust you as a citizen? And if I know there's hundreds of officers doing this, how can a citizen trust the police departments in their areas if hundreds of officers are being pulled over for DUIs? I don't get it, man. I don't get it. I don't get it. Y'all get it? I guess y'all don't get it either, which is good because it shouldn't make sense to a reasonable person that the officers by the hundreds, hundreds are being not arrested for something that we would go to jail for, lose our job. You might end up with a thing where you got to blow in your car, or well, not blow in the car, but you blow the thing to start the car. You get points on your license. Your insurance goes up. I'm trying to think of all the things that happen when you get a DUI. And they put you on a list. Like the police know in your area that you have a DUI. So when they see your car, they're looking to see if it's swerving a little bit. They'll pull you over. You're like a possible repeat offender at that point. So, I don't know, man. I think we deserve better and we should demand better from our law enforcement. And if they are able to hide these people's faces and hide what departments they work for and hide all that kind of stuff, I think all of that should be illegal. And all of those people need to lose their jobs. If you can't be responsible as a law enforcement officer when you're not on duty, then how do I think you're going to be responsible when you are on duty and I put that 9mm on your hip and you're faced with a decision between shooting the kid or giving it a second to see if what he has in his hand is a cell phone? I don't know. Just saying. Just saying. If your job is that, Jay Coleman, you feel me? If that's your job, you should be held to a higher standard. Meaning if you break the law, there should be like higher penalties for you because you are a law enforcement officer. So your job is to uphold the law and you're knowingly doing the opposite. And it's not for the purposes of survival. It's always the purpose of greed. It's always they want to make some extra money on the side. So they're escorting cartel members through parts of the city and getting paid money on the side for it. Like these guys are doing a lot of dirty stuff. And it's not all police. I want y'all to understand that. There are some real decent police officers out there. There are. But it only takes one bad apple to spoil the bunch. If you got 10 cops standing around and one of them shoots a person, that person still got shot. And the other 10 cops can't do anything about that other than what? Shooting the cop that shot you? No, they're not going to do that. So it only takes one bad apple. And I'm seeing it all over the place. We've done 3 stories in the last week where the police are like nefariously setting up sex trafficking, drug trafficking, and in this case, letting people go for crimes that they should probably be doing a little bit of time in jail for. So no, I can't trust the department as a whole. And that's just where I sit with it. I don't have an issue with the police. I believe that they are, the design of the police department is to help. The design of it. But you put these humans in the place, like the lady was saying, you expect humans to do the right thing, and that's where you mess up. And that's where automation comes in, and people say, well, maybe automation is safer. Maybe automated robot police are safer because they're not going to be driving in DUI drunk driving. They're not going to be doing that. They're just going to follow the letter of the law, and when they're not on duty, they're in a storage closet somewhere, not on the road driving drunk. It makes a real case for automation. I'm just saying. Anyway, let me get ready to close this out. Jay Coleman with the awesome comment. Let me throw that. Let me give you the applause for that one. You get the applause first, okay? And I'm gonna read it. Jay Coleman, you are right. You cannot break the law and then become a cop, but you can become a cop, break the law, and remain a cop. Make that make sense, right? It's almost like they want you to be dirty once you're a cop. Before you're a cop, you got to be clean because they have to dirty you up with their dirt. And then once you get their dirt, you're kind of protected by another group of dirty people. So there's the sense. Everybody's, not everybody, but a lot of people are dirty in that situation. So once we all got dirt on each other, it becomes a trust where we trust each other because I got dirt on you, you got dirt on me. As long as I'm not saying nothing, you ain't saying nothing, we're all good. And that's how that happens. It's on some training day type of shit. If you do not smoke this, nigga, we have a problem, So it's interesting. It's really interesting, though, because some people I know have become police officers and did it with the intention of finding vulnerabilities and ways to make side money. Crazy to think that somebody would actually become a cop with the thought of becoming a dirty cop. But yes, there are people out there like that. They literally look, if I get in here, then I can make things move. I can move evidence around. I can do this, and that. And they literally do it. And so it's very hard to trust. It is. I'm sorry. So let's bring it all together, guys. I pulled out 7 different stories. 7 different examples of this accountability gap widening in our society that I can show you guys. From politicians to influencers, corporations, relationships, justice system, law enforcement, accountability is just breaking down everywhere, and that's part of the problem. And it doesn't get better if we don't demand better from these people that we have as elected officials, from these people that we have as police officers. We have to demand it. And I'm not saying we need to go kick a door down, but it has to be a unified push from the people. Because if we don't push for it, obviously they're not going to do it. They'll let you go on a DUI and keep your job. We need to have it so that the second you get caught up like that and you're supposed to be of a higher ilk because you're a law enforcement officer, you got to go. You got to go. You should never have a badge nowhere. You can't even be a mall security officer no more. None of that. You don't get to secure nothing. But for some reason, we let that go, right? So we can't really control what the police departments are doing. You know, we can ask for certain change. We can. But we can't control it. Special shouts to IMZ with the super chat. IMZ says, make it make sense, right? And it's not designed to make sense. The whole point is it doesn't make sense. The whole point is that's why it's on Purge of the bullshit, because it is the bullshit. So I look at it like this. If you want to get away with crime, go be a cop. Seems to be the way to do it. Go work for the FBI. Go work for law enforcement departments, because that seems to be the people that get away with the shit at the highest level. I remember we had a sheriff. He was running a whole gambling ring in one county and had 12 other decorated officers helping him out with the shit, making hundreds of thousands of dollars a week. And that was an elected official. That sheriff was an elected official. So we see it all over the place. We do. But I think the first thing that we have to do is we got to hold ourselves accountable for being able to disseminate through the BS, okay? When you see something that's some bullshit, if you allow it to continue, you are also aiding and abetting the BS, is what I'll say. So our job is to call it out. Hope that when we call out loud enough, somebody hears it and affects change. That's what we're hoping for. That's what we're going for. But unfortunately, that's a lofty wish, ain't it? That people would do the right thing. Even the news lady said, you're expecting humans to do the right thing. And although it hurt to hear her say that as a human, I understood where she was coming from on that. I really did. I understood where she was coming from, and it's sad because we can't even trust other humans to do the right thing by humans. We can trust humans to do the right thing by AI. Yeah. So nonetheless, Jay Coleman, I appreciate you in the chat today. I really do. I know that the notifications didn't go out super hard today, but I'm not really worried about it. Pause. I shouldn't have said that. But I want you guys, anybody that's still here, make sure you check out this Flute app, guys, okay? It's FLEWTE. Make sure that you check that out. It's free to download it. It's on the Google App Store. And like I said, it's a place where I can put content that YouTube is being dicks about, and, you know, at least let people see it. Because as a creator, it's one part about monetization and all that, but the other part is I just want people to see my work. And YouTube has a problem with 90% of it. But I'm here because this is supposed to be the biggest forum, and it is, technically, and there is a monetization element to it as well. But it's really about a much larger business and project that I'm working on. So I want to thank you guys for supporting what we're doing over here, even though we know the algorithm does not support good conversation and non-ratchet shit, which is what we do over here on Purge the BS. But this applause is for y'all. You guys are worth it. You guys are worth it. I'll argue with YouTube till the end of my days because you guys are worth it. You make it do what it does, and I know that if one or two people go out into the world with a better idea of how to deal with this bullshit, I have done my job. You understand what I'm saying? So special shouts, of course, to Jay Coleman for stopping in. Who else we got in there? We had, of course, Purple Groovy, IMZ, Al Bunn, and I didn't see my normal regulars in there, but they'll catch the replay. I'll see y'all in the comments. But anybody else, guys, it has been a wonderful Tuesday. I'll be back on Thursday with some additional BS because I want to see what they are actually going to do with this Epstein situation before I talk about it again for hopefully the last time. So we're going to see what that is and what's going on with that. And I got a couple other things that have been coming down the pipe that we'll get to at that point. But y'all make sure you show back up right here on Thursday, 11 a.m. to Purge the BS, because if you do not show up to Purge the BS, then that, my friends, is the bullshit. And we out. Peace.